Zoo. Are we excited to see an elephant? Lovely. Now, before we bring an elephant out here, I do want to talk about something quickly that is near and dear to our hearts, and that is, of course, conservation, right? So there is a program here at the zoo called Round Up for Conservation. Has anyone heard of it? A couple of us. So it's a program where if you go to the gift shop or the restaurant, you'll be asked if you would like to round up to the nearest dollar. And if you say yes, then your change is going to go directly into conservation projects. And we're going to talk about that a little bit in just a moment. But I want you for now to just keep Round Up for Conservation in your mind, and then we'll talk about it later. There's a little bit of a prize. Now, one more thing before we bring an elephant out here. You'll see that I have a piece of paper in my hand, and that is because we have written a brand new presentation, and we would love your feedback on it. So after our presentation, we're looking for 10 volunteers who are above the age of 18 who are willing to fill out a really quick survey. It's just a QR code, and then we have a cool bracelet that you can take home or you can give to your kids. But we hope that you will volunteer to help us out. Are you guys ready to see an elephant? Yeah. All right, I'm gonna hop off mic and we'll get one in here. All right, now joining us out here today is Akara. Can we say hi, Akara? Hi. And training with her today is Sarah. Can we say hi, Sarah? So Akara is a 9-year-old elephant in our herd. She is a female and she is going through something very exciting. Does anybody know what that is? She is pregnant! It's her first calf. Give her a round of applause. We are so very excited, but we still have a ways to wait because she is due in not this July, next July. Elephants are pregnant, not can be, they are pregnant for 22 months. And when they have their babies, they can weigh about 300 pounds. Yeah. Now Sarah is doing a training session with Akara, and she is using positive reinforcement. Now, positive reinforcement just means that we will ask Akara to do a behavior, and if she does it, she gets some delicious food. So we have a couple of tools to help us out with that. The first one is a target pole, which is under Sarah's arm. We can use that for different parts of our elephant's body. Sarah's asking for her trunk. Now, the next one I want you guys to listen for, because that is called a clicker or a bridge. That lets Akara know, yes, you have done the correct behavior and food is on the way. And then our last and probably most important tool is, of course, food. So today we are using apples, carrots, sweet potatoes. If Akara does a big behavior, you'll see she'll get half of a banana, maybe a slice of melon. Now we train for a couple of different reasons. The first one being medical behaviors. So we're actually going to demonstrate 3 medical behaviors that we do with our elephants every single week. Now the first one that we're going to demonstrate is a voluntary blood collection. Now this is just a practice, no blood involved. But we want to show you how we can easily get blood just by asking for it. So Sarah is asking for her ear. Alina is going to go up and hold off one of her veins. If you've ever had your blood collected at the doctor, you know that we have a rubber band or something that holds off pressure. It's the same exact concept. Alina is going to lay the needle, and then Akara knows what comes next. And most importantly for Akara, she knows that half of a banana comes after that. And for Akara, half of a banana is absolutely worth that little bit of a pinch. Now, our training is always voluntary, so if Akara ever wants to walk away, she absolutely can. 9.9 times out of 10, she's going to hang out with us and participate. Now, the next behavior we're going to demonstrate is called a trunk wash. A trunk wash is where we have a little bit of saline that we're going to put down her trunk, and then we're going to have her blow it into a bag. Now, what that's going to give us is a delicious snot sample. Is everybody hydrated? Does anybody need some water? We have a little bit of extra in just a moment. No, I'm just kidding, but that snot sample looks really gross, but it is filled with lots of critical information. So we can monitor different diseases like elephant herpes virus or tuberculosis. So it's really important, and we do that every single week. Now, the last medical behavior that I'm going to talk about is foot care. We do a full mani-pedi with all of our elephants every single month. It takes about 3 hours per elephant. So Alina's just going to be brushing off her foot so we can check for debris, things like rocks. But when we're actually doing foot care, we'll actually use a grinder and we'll grind their nails up off the ground. Elephants naturally walk on their tippy toes, and so we don't want 8,000 pounds of pressure on their toenails. They would, of course, crack, it would cause infections, just wouldn't be very nice. Now, another reason that we train with our elephants is for mental stimulation. Elephants are incredibly intelligent. Does anybody out here have a toddler? Or maybe has had a toddler that's grown up? Okay, so elephants are thought to be as intelligent as a toddler. So to all my parents out there, I want you to take your toddlers, scale them up 8,000 pounds, and you have an elephant. Sounds fun, right? Sometimes. So we want to always be challenging our elephants. We don't want their lives to be boring. We want them to always be working towards something. So whether that's in a difficult training session or through enrichment, we like to change it up. Now, the last reason that we train is for exercise. Does anybody here like to exercise? Okay, some of us. Does anybody here like to watch Netflix and the air conditioning have snacks? Me too. But exercise is super important. It keeps our heart and our lungs healthy, and it's just the same for our elephants. Now, as she is moving through her exercise routine, she is trained for these behaviors, but I hope that she's demonstrated just how easy these things are for her. She's very capable of climbing things. She's very capable of balance. She's also listening to Sarah. Did you guys see that she was tapping her trunk on those stepping stones? So elephants can't actually see beneath their feet. So she's using her trunk to feel in front of her to make sure that she has good footing. She's also listening to Sarah throughout her entire training session. So we've talked a lot about Akara and our elephants and our training program here at the zoo. Does everybody agree that elephants are pretty intelligent? Yeah. So I want to kind of redirect us, and I want to talk about elephants out in the wild. Does everybody think that elephants are doing well in the wild? They're not. Asian elephants are endangered. Can anybody shout out why you think Asian elephants are endangered? Poaching is the second largest threat, but it is not the main threat. Anything else? Yep, habitat destruction, that's one of them. So for Asian elephants, it depends what country they're in. It can be habitat loss, it can also be human-elephant conflict. So we're going to talk specifically about a country called Sri Lanka. Now, Sri Lanka is important for elephants because it has the largest density of Asian elephants in the world. There are about 6,000 wild Asian elephants. And it is 3 times smaller than Oklahoma. So to put that number into perspective, if we shrunk Sri Lanka down to the size of Oklahoma City, it would be about 200 elephants. And in Oklahoma City, we have about 200 car washes. So every single time that you drive past a car wash, I want you to think, what if that was an elephant? And it might sound really cool, but it would also be really scary. Now, can anybody tell me why they think that elephants may get themselves into trouble in the wild? Do you think they're destructive?
No.
Yes. So I want you guys to imagine that you are farmers in Sri Lanka, right? So some plants that you might grow would be bananas, rice, papaya. Can you tell me foods that you think that elephants in Sri Lanka like to eat? Shout it out. Fruit, bananas, rice, papaya. Yes. All of the foods that you are growing on your farm, elephants really like to eat. Now, how are you going to protect your farm? Are you going to build a fence? Do you think that a fence would keep an elephant out?
No.
Well, we just watched Akara do all of her exercise routines. So do you think that she might be able to climb over a fence?
Yes.
She may demonstrate her excellent climbing skills. So yes, she would be able to climb over that fence. Do you think you could build a shed?
No.
Maybe, yeah. Well, Akara is about 6,000 pounds of sheer muscle. And if you see her trunk can smell very, very well. Does anybody here have pets at home? So her trunk is capable of smelling your pets just from the clothes that you're wearing to the zoo today. So any shed that we build, Akara is going to be able to smell the food inside, use her brain to figure out how she's going to get that food, and then she's going to use her strength to get that food. So what do you think you're going to do? It's a really difficult problem, right? Now let's think that you're an elephant. You spend your days grazing in different parks, but then as soon as that sun sets, you're going to, of course, go to get that delicious food that you favor, right? So it creates this problem. It creates a very complex issue of human-elephant conflict. Now, there are things that you can do. Just by coming to the zoo, you are supporting Asian elephants. A portion of your ticket does go directly into conservation programs. But there's another thing. Does anybody remember that program I was talking about? You can raise your hand. Do you remember it? Roundup for Conservation? Absolutely. You can come down and get this stuffed elephant after the presentation. So Roundup for Conservation directly supports a program called the Sri Lanka Elephant Project. Now that project is exclusively funded by the Oklahoma City Zoo through Roundup for Conservation. It's an incredibly important project that really fosters and empowers the next generation of conservationists. So I really hope that you do Roundup for Conservation today because it does make a change. Now that's going to be it for our formal presentation. If you would like to help us out with our survey, we will be standing at the front. Please do come down. We'd love to chat to you. Have a good rest of your day.
You can